It gives us an opportunity as voters in this borough to come out and let our vote be heard very loud, whether you're for one candidate or the other. But it's important for the borough of the Bronx to come out to vote because everybody's watching as to how the vote turns out throughout the city. And I think that we've been doing here, as you can see, we've been campaigning, doing phone banking all this whole week. We have had volunteers come here to uh, to send a message to the voters in the Bronx how important it is for our borough to be heard, to come out and express yourself. It will go down in history in this country. You can begin to see the change in the country when people are voting for Obama, who's African American, and people are voting for Hillary, who's a woman. This never happened before in the history of this country. And it has turned into a race where, well, we hope Hillary wins. We feel she's going to win. Uh, but nonetheless, what it's also telling us that the voters in this country, those who are voting for Obama and Hillary, especially for Obama, are saying time is here for us to change what is happening in Washington, D.C. And change means, you know, from Bush into a Democratic president that will pay more attention to the needs of the people rather than what they have contributed to and dedicated themselves. Sending our children to a
And there you heard sounds from Assemblyman Jose Rivera, State Assemblyman of the 78th Assembly District, talking on Super Tuesday about what he anticipated. He now joins us on the phone as we have Assemblyman Rivera with us. And thank you for joining us here on Open.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you, and especially good morning to the entire borough of the Bronx.
Good morning to you. I know you're up in Albany trying to take care of some business, but once you look back at Super Tuesday, particularly in terms of Bronx voter turnout, were you surprised at the amount of people who came out?
No, to be honest with you, no. I think both camps did their best to bring the message to the voters in our borough, the Obama camp and the Hillary Clinton camp. And we need to congratulate all of them, both sides, Obama's camp and the Hillary camp. And we successfully got to the voters, and the indication of that is that they turn out to vote. I mean, look at the percentages that Hillary won by, and even look at the percentages that Obama got in the Bronx. Indicates that there were a lot of activity going on. I can say that as the chair of the Bronx Democratic Party, I'm very proud of all the youngsters that volunteered throughout the last 2 weeks to get out the vote in the Bronx. But I need to share with you, equally important, in the Bronx, our organization, when we say we're going to endorse or we're going to support, we don't limit ourselves to the Bronx. We traveled last September to Chicago, Illinois. We were active there. We traveled. We brought 60 volunteers to New Hampshire after Obama won in Iowa, an impressive victory for him. That gave him the momentum that he still has, because this is not over. So we traveled to New Hampshire. There were 60 of us volunteer. We also with us with Assemblyman Jeff Dinowitz, and we traveled other areas. We went to South Carolina, and we went to even Florida, and we sent representatives to California because it's like a way of using this campaign to train our youngsters.
Well, let me jump in here and ask the question, because when you talk about this, and I'm going to bring Marriah Starr in, Professor Marriah Starr in to share with us a little bit on this, as you talk about the large number of voter turnouts, particularly here in the borough of the Bronx and in New York State in general, what do you think is the driving factor that's really bringing people out to the polls?
I have to believe again is that the voters have been paying a very close attention to what they see on television, what they read, the importance of coming out and vote this year. They want change. They want change from the Bush Republican administration. They want an end to the Iraq War. They want health services to be provided for the millions of Americans that have no health coverages. That was, in my view, the driving force, but that we were all able to, across the state, the different boroughs in the city of New York, to bring out our message, following everything people have been made aware of, the importance that after everything is said and done, you need to come out to vote. And I am proud that the Bronx came out to vote.
Well, let me let Professor Starr jump in here because I know he's been listening to you and hearing some of the things that are going on. Driving force.
I think it is a much larger phenomenon than Mr. Rivera has mentioned. The issues are correct. The Iraq War, healthcare, but that's not what is solely motivating young voters. Young voters care about how the system works. And Obama specifically is saying the system is producing these big problems because on a large scale, we're too divided. These division between red states and blue states, between conservatives and liberals. This lack of unity is destroying our ability to address these difficult problems. And so yes, there is healthcare, there is education, there is Iraq, but fundamentally what young people care about is the ability to work together. Young people want us to be able to get past race, to get past gender, to get past all the conflicts that have been brewing in the country since the 60s, really. And so Obama says, let's get past the baby boomer dynamics. Let's get past the red state versus blue state. Let's go into a new era where the politics actually changes. The issues are the same, but the politics changes. So now we have greater turnout. We have people more engaged. We have people caring about it. They're passionate. That doesn't happen usually.
I want to ask this question of Professor Starr, and then I'm going to get you in here, Assemblyman Rivera, because one of the things that's the question is John McCain was able to garner 51% of the votes, and Mitt Romney's 28, Ron Paul coming out with 7. What do you think that McCain's message was that really attracted New York voters? And then for you, Assemblyman Rivera, how is the Democratic Party going to be able to challenge that, which John McCain talks to here in New York?
McCain is very good at appealing to moderates and independents. And what he's been able to do is speak to those New York Republicans who are frankly repelled by the far right wing of the Republican Party. Those people who are very conservative, especially Christian conservatives. And so when he talks about the changes that need to be made, he's talking against Romney as a tool of the religious right to some extent, as well as Huckabee. So McCain is saying, I'm a war hero. I have stood my ground. I'm independent. I have my own mind. I will not be influenced so much by the extremes of the Republican Party. And people like that.
Assemblyman Rivera?
Well, the fact is that I agree with just about everything that I just heard. I'm very, very proud as to the way this campaign developed. Hillary said a year ago when she was faced with making a decision to run for president, and she was asked, but there are indications that there are others that will be running, like Edwards and Senator Obama. And she said, she looked straight at the reporter, and she said, the more opponents coming in, that will contribute, that will help to re-energize the Democratic base. And those who are no longer satisfied, and guess what? And Obama proved that in Iowa. Iowa was a different type of election that we had yesterday. Republicans and if I'm correct, and independents were able to vote for Obama. So what is happening is that you're going to see the debates, and it seems like there's division, there's disagreement. Well, that's what our society is all about. At the end of the day, what it shows me as a chairman of the Bronx Democratic Party is that we will have a candidate that will capture the White House. That candidate can still be Senator Obama. This still is a fight.
We still have.
And we know. Pardon me, not to cut you off or something, but we know that there are some other things that are coming up down the line. We have some other primaries that are coming up down the line, and both the Democrats and the Republicans are now moving their ship